Should
Game
be
number
fun.
2, man.
Are we going to
Chipper.
see that? Yeah. Well, I was wondering if they're actually going to lock it because it was
Yeah.
available during the
Yeah.
lockpick pool or locking phase,
Yeah.
and it got past that, and then obviously it was the first ban coming out for Trademark Esports. So.
Yeah. That's all. That I did kind of find that a little bit intriguing that OTP did not choose to lock a hero like Chipper, because you got to figure. I mean, it's one thing we have even seen it blind banned against them. I think Lions actually blind banned against them in game number 1, I believe.
Yeah.
When they took on OTP, but you know, to not have a blind ban, at the very least locking it up, because if it makes it to that past the lock, you know, it's not locked up. You can safely assume it's going to be banned. I mean, tdM obviously again a very smart team. They're not. If anything, they just want to take you out of your comfort zone, and no doubt that's a comfort hero right now for OTP. So,
Yep.
with that said, it has officially started for game number 2. So I think it is time to jump right in. We got One Trick Pony taking on Trademark Esports, game number 2. Let's take a look. Here we are, OTP on the Legion side, Trademark, of course, on the Hellborn side. I must say, by the way, we haven't even mentioned this yet. I'm sure you guys have been seeing it, but One Trick Pony and their new logo that they recently sent us. That's what you're going to be representing, Trev.
I'm so excited. So happy. Unicorns and stuff.
All that fun stuff. Oh, how about the... Oh, look at that, by the way. Keeper of the Forced Ophelia coming out for OTP as a blind ban, but Fade Chipper blind banded here by Trademark Esports. Interesting. Wild Soul, of course, going to be locked up right away. Tempest, Wretched Act to follow. Master of Arms, Bombardier coming out here in the lock pool. So we got an interesting start here to this game, Drelf.
Yeah, absolutely. Legionnaire's the final lock, so all kinds of fun heroes are being locked so far. So we might see, well, we're probably going to see a Wild Soul first picked by OTP. It actually manages to slip through the blind banning phase by tdM. And they're a team I know that loves to run Wild Soul and understand the god-tier nature of this hero. And it's surprising to me just a little bit that they actually let that slip through.
Well, again, the fact that they blind banned both Fade and Chipper, who no doubt are two heroes that OTP loves to run. But again, I find it always interesting how the first game, neither one of those were blind bandits. And here we are in game 2, and all of a sudden they're both blind banded, even though you won the first game. So definitely an interesting order of events there, but the banning phase continuing. Zephyr, Engineer, Parasite, and Aluna so far coming out here. So Fuzi has one more to go himself, and then, of course, my nuts over here for tdM, the last one before we go into that first pick. So not going to be any Chipper play, though. I must say I am a little bit disappointed at that.
Yeah, we can all be sad.
But Bombardier is in there, and that was locked up by OTP, so you kind of wonder. And again, the point that they were making with Chipper, that Storyfooter at least was making in the podcast interview, was it's about having that map control, really. You know, obviously with Chipper, you know, having those rockets, having just the constant, we can really catch you off guard at any moment and burst you down. Sure, you have a carry that's getting farmed, but we'll be able to deal with that by bursting him down type of strategy. So Bombardier, you know, he seems like he could be somewhat similar in that role, I guess. If that's what they're really going for. So Pebbles going to be the first pick as Moon Queen Draconis with the final bans, but there you go, Silhouette response coming out for tdM so far.
Silhouette, and as far as support is concerned, I would say Glacius. All around good support. Engineers band. Oh, they go with Empath. Okay, I love Empath. I think Empath is really good. Not exactly as strong as a laner, I think, as Glacius is straight up, but obviously with the as-one ability, jumping into somebody like a Silhouette or some other hard carry, it's very, very effective.
Fitzgate plays an amazing empath too. He's played that several times lately for Trademark Esports, and I even think when he was on Domain of Pain a little bit. And yeah, empath definitely is gonna. He's that next tier of support. I think it's safe to say. I mean, sure you got your Luna, Glacius, Engineer is really kind of that trio right now, but the Holy Trinity. But then yeah, you got empath after that. You know, you're gonna 4 empath, your Martyr, stuff like that. OTP gonna respond now themselves. Again, we always think ahead to the lock picking stage. You figure a first pick Wild Soul, so you think more than likely him in that Suicide. So where do you go from here? Well, actually, Glacius Pharaoh picked up, and again that still goes along the logic of we just want to be able to be active and have that gotcha potential. So
that tells me they might almost just not even pick Wild Soul.
Really?
Yeah, unless they pick Wild Soul and then bank on getting another jungler. So they'd have Wild Soul plus a jungler, then Pebbles Glacius mid, Pharaoh solo bottom. Or if they decide to have a support MOA, but I wouldn't be surprised if MOA gets snatched up by tdM. I think the pick right here is going to determine a lot. So it's Deadwood. Yeah, I think it's going to be, again, a second support Master of Arms, actually, with probably a Suicide Wretched Hag for tdM if Wild Soul's picked up here. If he's not, which I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if they picked up like Wretched Hag here or Master of Arms.
Do you really want to give Zai Wild Soul, though? I mean, it's one of those cases, like, sure, you're passing it up for yourself that because you may have a different strategy in mind, but you're in a sense, you're also giving Trademark Esports a Wild Soul. And, you know, Zai obviously plays a fantastic Wild Soul, let alone the hero itself is just so good. So, some tough decision for sure to come out here for Fuzi, who of course is the captain for One Trick Pony, and not much time left, about 10 seconds now, so needs to think of a decision quickly. It's going to be Master of Arms, actually, so interesting there. Now we'll see how tdM responds, but
I think it'll be Wild Soul and Tempest now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Wild Soul. Well, it actually could be Wild Soul and like Legionnaire, because you do have somewhat of a good counter to Tempest of Pharaoh. But I wouldn't be surprised still at all, even with that said, that Tempest and Wild Soul be picked up right here. Your lanes would be set up quite nicely, actually. It all depends on where tdM decides to lane Deadwood, really.
Yeah, speaking of Deadwood, actually, you know, again, you think of Deadwood, at least for me, you know, I think Stay Green, specifically Swindle Melons. Wow, Regidak Tempest. So Wild Soul not being addressed so far by either team. And, you know, depending on what OTP does here, we could possibly even see a Wild Soul even just passed up altogether, which would be very, very rare. And he sure enough is. Bombardier going to be the final pick from OTP. Now, I was actually thinking about that because, and with that, I'm kind of curious if we're going to now see like something like an aggressive tri-lane from OTP. With a Pharaoh, maybe short bot, and Bombardier mid or something like that, or maybe opposite. But
yeah, I think it's going to be Bomb bottom and Pharaoh mid and then tri-lane top.
Yeah, so they're going aggressive, and that means, of course, Master of Arms is going to be playing a support role as well. I mean, this is, in a sense, you know, sure, if you want to call it kind of an all-in strategy of this is early game once again. I mean, sure, this is kind of OTP's strategy. They make a clear point that they are more of an aggressive team, but, you know, there's always comes a risk with that. So we'll see. We'll see how OTP performs here. What is, in a sense, you know, you lose here, you're obviously moving down to the losers bracket to face the winner of that Lion State Green series. So here with tdM currently up 1-0. OTP does this too, I've been noticing since they've been casting them lately. They like to go these kind of different paths towards ganking the other team early on as a group. Like in this case, they're running towards, or down the middle lane, of course, so. Not going to catch anyone, or at least initially it looks like. Trademark Esports, they're kind of going the bottom lane themselves, and being spread out even, so. Nothing
the
just
pain
yet,
train's coming up through the jungle here.
Choo-choo. Yeah, not going to find anyone,
Fruit.
As we have a pause coming out from tdM. Deadwood being played by Limp. He is going to be going middle, it looks like. I don't know, maybe not. How are we going to see these lanes, actually?
I do not know, but they're sitting down here for now. Obviously, they haven't decided, or at least, I'm getting the IM stuff, too.
Are you?
That's crazy. Just kidding, I wasn't, guys. It doesn't work. Haha, don't try it.
Yep, you just said it. Now here comes the spam train.
I know.
Yeah, so obviously in the pause here, it's, you know, kind of just, now we'll delay us getting some answers as far as how this laning phase is going to play out here for both of these teams. But again, One Trick Pony trying to catch somebody on tdM's side here in the jungle. Probably not going to happen, though. But yeah, OTP, once again, the lineup is all about, and actually, this is kind of interesting. I mean, Xzibit was the one playing the Pebbles last game. This game, though, he's actually going to be on the Bombardier, whereas Fuzi going to take the Pebbles role this time around. So, kind of switching things up a little bit right there, but obviously, you know, it can definitely make sense. Xzibit seems like kind of fits his style of intellect, aggressive ganking style hero more. This chipper play and whatnot.
Yeah, I will say Bombardier coupled with Pharaoh is actually very, very strong. Yeah. Being able to catch someone from very, very far away with a hook from Pharaoh's ultimate, and then get him in the wall mummies, and then also with a global presence of the airstrike, it's a very, very good synergy.
Yeah.
You put on top of that, you'd like an offensive master's call from Master of Arms onto Pharaoh. You get those auto attacks in there extra fast. Pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. Now, again, this as we talk about with Master of Arms, getting the levels on him can be pretty important. If he's going to be really one of the two supports here in a tri-lane setup, that means his levels are ultimately going to be nerfed. Now, depending on how tdM lanes it, we could see some early adjustments, sure, so it might not be as nerfed as expected, but still, it's, not having that, as we even saw as recent as last game. The Master's Call, very, very important to have for your team with that global presence. So apparently Xibbe's having the good old restroom break here before we resume with game number 2. And actually, I just heard players leave. I kind of wonder if that was the other series. It looks like or game number 1 looks like it might have just finished. So I believe that would mean Stay Green won the first game.
Yeah, I'd find it hard to believe that it was a comeback in 2 minutes.
and that quick, yeah.
30-kill deficit.
Lions, the comeback of the century. So yeah, it's probably a 1-0 series here right now for Stay Green. To update that real quickly. But anyways, yeah, so waiting for a Bombardier to return.
But yeah, we probably will see this aggressive tri-lane here coming out from OTP. And again, the same concern I have with specifically the second support Master of Arms is just that you're not going to get those levels as fast as you'd like to.
Mm-hmm.
So. What changed?
Let's go
Zib
now.
was gone, and then he's like, all right, let's go. What?
But let's go. Yeah. tdM, a team that loves to keep playing.
Apparently they're the most busy people in the world.
Go figure. Seriously. Yeah, anyways. So, once he does resume, then we will be good to go. Again, I'm kind of curious, too, how tdM decides to lane theme themselves. You got to figure that they are also under the impression that maybe they could see a tri-lane set up top and the aggressive tri-lane, so maybe that'll kind of switch things up for them as far as how they approach things with their lane setup. So, but there's only so much you can talk about, let's be honest here.
Yes.
Well, we're sitting in a pause, unfortunately. So, yeah, tomorrow, how about tomorrow? Tomorrow will be the... Again, the loser of this versus the winner of that Stay Green Lion series. That will, in a sense, kind of be a third-place match. Let's see who will move on to the grand finals. That'll be the earlier match, and then obviously after that will be our best-of-5 grand finals with the winner's bracket team being up 1-0. So no matter what the matchup is, I'm sure it is going to be great. An awesome finish for sure. And then on Monday, we got the good old GSL qualifiers kicking things off. So plenty of content here on HoNcast.com. Definitely make sure you are ready for a lot of great HoN action. And that's a cool thing. It's not like, it's content where it's, we're just filling it with random tournaments. Not that that's, bad by any means. We got the Sound Blaster coverage that we do, which is definitely fun, and big shout out to Sound Blast for hosting events like that. But hell, especially with those GSL qualifiers, man. I mean, you're going to have every single day top-tier matchups. So
let's get it on.
Literally, right as Nui says ready, there's an immediate unpause from tdM. So we are good to go. Okay. Here we are as OTP again kind of just roaming around in this train formation here. But as we expected, not going to run into anyone, unfortunately. There's a ward aside on Deadwood, by the way. I'm guessing he's just going to place that here in the middle lane for himself. Perhaps for the Ruin as well, but make sure he's not ganked early on. Empath is down here at the bottom lane, so it looks like we could see Trademark Esports going a long lane Silhouette Empath with a short lane Hag. Tempest is probably just going to die, which he does right there, and then he's going to most likely go to his own jungle? I don't know. We'll see, actually.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Maybe he'll start out in his own jungle, see if OTP decides to do some switching around and moving around their lanes. The good thing about this, though, is Zai being in the short lane. They must have predicted this, and I feel like this is the only way you could have predicted this. The thing is, though, they could have very well easily just sent a Suicide Pharaoh top to go one-on-one and then have a tri-lane bottom, and then Bombardier at solo mid. And then once they found out the lanes and felt them out, they could have sent one to assist Bombardier mid and then just guaranteed farm onto the Pebbles. And I think that would have been smarter, too, because unless they're able to get kills after kills after kills onto Retrohag, and they're doing a good job to start things off, they're prioritizing the lane presence and lane positioning first. So they're massive denying this. They don't need to pressure him. They don't need to harass him right now. Get the lane back and then worry about doing something to Wretched Hag.
Glacius coming here in the middle lane. Does have a freeze ready to go. Not going to use it, though. Limp falls back fairly quickly playing that Deadwood. And as a result, he'll be more than fine. But the quick transition coming out from the Legion team. Bombardier in a little bit of trouble here. Again, Fitske plays a great empath and excellent wall right there. Heavily harassing Bombardier and trying to keep him out of the lane. So now the question is, so OTP making that adjustment from top to mid with Glacius moving there. But do you do anything now about this whole situation at the bottom lane? Do you want to get some farm on Bombardier, or is this where you settle now if you're OTP?
I think you give a Silhouette a clear enough advantage, because Bomb versus Silhouette in this short lane, Bomb would just do so much better than Silhouette. I mean, Silhouette would have potential to be okay one-on-one, but if you give him an edge then in this bottom lane, and then you can transition to the mid with Empath, like right now would be perfect, because he can go check the rune and then maybe go mid afterwards. He's not doing that just yet. He's still sitting down here, and I would have definitely checked that rune right there if I was Fitske, which happened to be an invis. So
yeah,
hopefully for his sake this isn't snatched up by OTP. They check it top. It's not top. Glacius could run bottom. But they don't see Empath right now, so they could be assuming that he's already down there. Nonetheless, there goes Glacius, and that's a free invis room that Fitske easily could have gotten. It's not like he really accomplished anything in the last 20 seconds.
Well, he is running over there, and if anything, he's going to try to get vision of it to see what it is, but it is going to be picked up by Glacius right here, and now we'll see if perhaps they can get something out of it. Now, I don't know if Fitske was able to see what rune it was. If he did, maybe, you know, if anything, is like saying, you know what, there was an invis rune, be careful. In this case, maybe the Glacius has it, and look at Limp. I mean, he falls all the way back to the tree right here. He knows something's up, and he is going to play very, very passive. So, again, some good communication coming out right there, but now, actually, Znui may head all the way to the top lane to maybe put something on this Wretched Hag, perhaps catch Tempest here in the jungle, who is actually having a good time, as you would expect. And just continuing to free farm himself. The goal per minute chart is actually pretty interesting to look at. Very even at the top between the two teams. And then really goes off from there. But yeah, Glacius now all the way at the top lane. Still has about 15 seconds left in the invis. But Wretched Hag, again, she just knows something's up. Not going to really risk it. Instead, just going to go for this pull here. It's not a double stack by any means, but might as well get something right. So, as they did counter the ward, by the way. And the Revelation will actually see Glacius too. So
you'll see him. Zai's going to get this pull off right now. It's going to push the wave up a little bit, but I feel like as these roaming supports with Glacius went mid, I don't think that they put enough pressure on the Tempest. In fact, they put no pressure on the Tempest. He's been free farming. He's at 3. He's top farmer in the game actually, or just neck and neck with Fuzi on the Pebbles. And when you have these roaming supports and you're not able to get kills, capitalize on kills on the Wretched Hag, you got to do something else in exchange. You got to put more pressure on the mid, more pressure onto the jungle. But you haven't done that. As a result, we see a very early boost in experience here for tdM.
Yeah, wow, 1,800 experience it already. Only
and nothing has happened. So
yeah. Yeah, and now Glacius, after all that, is spending the time in the invis, trying to set something up, and now he comes back to the middle lane here, where Limp, you know, again, his farm is hindered a little bit. He's only 12-5 here on Deadwood, 23-9 fair in the meantime. Bombardier at the bottom lane in some trouble. Silhouette diving, does have the sticky bomb on him, but Bombardier trying to cut through the trees. You see the sticky bomb. The stun is really what he was going for, and actually it will be enough for Bombardier to make his escape. But Noob G, with the start that he had especially, clearly making the point that he ain't afraid of Bombardier, at least at this point, and pushing him back. So Empath does continue to be here at the bottom lane, though, and kind of have that presence felt. So Bombardier exhibit here on the bomb. He is continuing to be absolutely locked down as he is getting nothing. I mean, he just hit level 3 right there, but only 2-in-1 free farm. Top lane, we could have some action. The tower being pressured heavily, but here comes Tempest with the gank attempt. Wretched Hag going to be caught by the Tempest, all them pouring them in. That'll save Wretched Hag if anything. They are going to kill Master of Arms. Now Charge Shot will connect, so they do get the kill, but now Fuzi in a lot of trouble. Tempest is chasing one more auto attack. No, it's not going to be enough. Health potion coming out, and at least for OTP's sake, Pebbles does stay alive. So it ends up being a 1-for-1. However, Bloodlust kill was in favor of tdM.
That was actually really damn close. I thought the Stalagmites would have canceled that ultimate for sure. Like, for sure. That was kind of a risky play, honestly, by Minuts, but kind of lucked out there just a little bit, and as a result made a big exchange by getting the Bloodlust for him. And his farm, again, this is an unhindered jungle, not to mention now he has Bloodlust gold on top of that. And you just haven't put enough pressure onto him. And it's not like, okay, well, we didn't pressure the jungler, so at least we got mid down. No, not really. Deadwood's still farming 17 CS. And it's going to have a level 6 here pretty soon, so they're just not getting the best trade here.
Coming up to 6 minutes into the game now, you do see Glacius putting down a water side pretty aggressively, actually, here in the middle lane. Double damage rune is bottled up by Deadwood, by the way, but we are going to have a 6-minute rune spawning. Neither team necessarily going for it. Let's see if it spawns top. It is going to be top, and it is going to be a haste rune, and actually the Tormented Soul will snipe it out. As, Glacius dodging a Rotten Grasp right there, and might have actually hit him at the last second. But anyways, they're going to turn this on to Deadwood, perhaps. Deadwood on the run. You do see the Hellfire doing some work. Now, Falcon Punch is going to be used very defensively there by Limp. Out comes another freeze, though. Another auto attack, and yes, they will get the kill. Now, Pharaoh in some trouble. Can he survive? No, he cannot, as Wretched actually comes in. A great wall from Empath as well. Tempest off to the side. They're going to finish off Glacius, so it ends up being a 2-for-1, and the haste rune was ultimately picked up by Tempest, of course. That's the reason why he got there. Now, the top lane, they want to try to kill this tower, but they need to be careful, man. Invulnerability coming out. Obviously, they know Tempest has a haste rune, and he is running right back up here, so this tower may fall. In comes Tempest. There's a tower kill, but at what cost right here? Here comes Wretched Ag. There's the fork landing on Wretched Ag, trying to save Pebbles. If anything, now Master of Arms is in trouble. They are on the run. Now, they do have a port in from Snooey coming out on Glacius, and that could be a big difference maker. In fact, here we go. There's the Wrath of the Pharaoh on Wretched Ag. Wretched Ag will fall. Tempest now cut it as well, and a great turnaround from One Trick Pony. So, very risky plays, honestly, but it works out beautifully for OTP in the end.
Yeah, that was kind of silly running at there from tdM. That you should have seen that coming. Like, that was just way too long. In the meantime, though, you have Silhouette pressuring this bottom lane very, very hard all by herself. This tower will go down here in a second, and at the worst time possible. There's the wall coming out from Empath. There's the stun as well, and nothing Zibba can do. He is 0-1-0 now with no CS, no levels. And this is a hero, I'm telling you, that really has difficulty in trying to come back.
Oh yeah, no, he is not a it's okay, I'll just recover hero by any means, and so that's obviously bad news for OTP. Now, mass TPs here to the bottom lane. They will actually be able to deny here as Pebbles and Bombardier come back in. Of course, he's only level 3, so respawning fairly quickly. But yeah, this tower is going to be denied here by Pebbles, it looks like. Trying to somehow get these levels added up now. Maybe this will be that moment. As actually, they keep the tower alive for now. You know, I guess that is a case of might as well keep it up just in case somebody else wants to port to it. Maybe if they try to gank Bombardier. So I could definitely see what OTP is thinking there. But okay, he puts another attack into it. It's like, guys, it's not close enough. Anyways, he is level 4 now, and he is going to continue to farm it up. And so it looks like he is getting a little bit of free time now to at least recover somewhat, which is definitely good news for OTP, obviously.
Well, he TP'd and got 1 CS so far, so it's just very, very difficult to come back as Bomb. Hopefully, the thing that he can do here is, he's actually missing a lot of CS down there, a lot.
Missing that.
But if he hits level 6, then he can start making some kind of impact this game. Until that time, he's going to have to soak up levels. So he does hit level 5 right there. He's got a full level to go.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. I mean, at the very least, getting those levels, like you said, having that global presence. That on top, your Master of Arms, who is level 6 himself. And then you got Pharaoh, you know, and not obviously global. I mean, well, with the Torment Soul, it is global, but and even the Wrath of the Pharaoh, it's a very, very long range, of course. Glacius getting caught up by Empath right here. Silhouette looking to assist, as is Deadwood. This is no doubt a Dead Snooey. And down he goes, so pretty much a free kill coming out for Trademark Esports. I'm not even sure what he was doing there, actually. I was thinking maybe it was a even minute mark, but there was no, it's just now past 9 minutes now, so just getting caught out in a bad position. Oh, I guess he might have placed the sword aside. That's probably what he did here at the Ancients, which is counter-warded right away by Fitsuke, actually. So we're seeing a lot of that lately here on the competitive scene. A lot of teams valuing blocking those Ancient camps with Fort of Sights, but, you know, as a result of that, teams are also getting better at countering them and paying attention to that. So as we see right there right off the bat. Silhouette, though, her free farm is definitely adding up, as is Tempest. I mean, he actually does have his boots on top of the Ring of Sorcery, and now a power supply, another 1,100 gold save up. Xibby finally denies the bottom tower. He is level 6 now, by the way. He's
finally level 6. Okay, well, the only thing is you don't have a hard carry. You don't have a hard carry in your team, and in fact, the Hellborn team does, and he is the most farmed in the game. So that's very, very scary. And also, they have a number of ways to combat you in the late game. And they're also, on top of that, ahead of you in both the Golden Experience, especially Experience, because the Tempest didn't get roamed down at all. And I really feel like Glacius and Master of Arms could have done a better job. Even if you didn't get the kill, at least force him out of the jungle to try to do something else somewhere else.
Yeah.
And they weren't able to do that.
Now, they might roam on him here. If anything, Fitske here on the Sandpath going to run into trouble. Stalagmites, oh, they're going to come out on a great wall initially. That'll delay it at least a little bit. He will fall in the end, but the delay may be the biggest result of getting a counter kill here. Pebbles on the run. Obviously, Tempest and Hag are chasing. Tempest doesn't have the stun just yet there in 1 second. Bad Boss coming in. No, but he misses the Rotten Grasp also missing. But Limp says, hello. No, a great defensive match. Just called Pharaoh coming in. It ain't going to be enough. Now Storyfighter in trouble himself. Mummy Wall's going up on top of the Hellfire. Of course, Wretched Duck blinking right over it, though. Still pounding an auto attack. So Hellfire is still doing some work. He will get some support from Bombardier, who does have the airstrike, actually. The Sticky Bomb will land. Is going to maybe airstrike right here. Yes, he will. Not going to be a kill, though. Wretched Duck survives. Down goes Bombardier. Pharaoh will stay alive. Permanent Soul Connection canceling a health potion right there. But Trademark Esports definitely coming out on top. And I really think that wall from Empath, you know, the fact that it delayed it as long as it did to get her killed, definitely played a big role there.
Yeah, it definitely did. So good spell usage right there by Fitske right before he died. And OTP was just so close. Like the airstrike hit 3 people right there. All of them. They all got hit by all of the ultimate right there from Bombardier, but just not enough damage. Very, very close. But just not enough. And in the meantime, when you're winning these team fights as a team that has a superior late game, that's the scariest part about it. Now, you did pick up a portal key on the Pebbles, and we saw last game that did actually a lot of work, and at least now they don't have to play against the Master of Arms defensive call.
Yeah.
Because that's actually a very, very useful tool, especially against heroes like Pebbles and Fade.
Yeah, good point. I mean, in a sense, he's almost that counter hero, you could say. I mean, and he was first picked up the lock pool, wasn't he, from One Trick Pony? So they definitely valued him there in that lock pool. But gonna group up kind of here in the middle lane. The only one not with him is that Bombardier. Now, usually you would have that global presence, but it is on cooldown currently with the airstrike. Still about 60-second cooldown, so has to wait for that to get back up. Pebbles will port at the top lane. He does have his portal key now, as he got an active fight. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Defensive Master's calling to Feral, but he is still in a lot of trouble. He's tanking this damage for so long, but he will finally fall. And actually, at the bottom lane, Noob G taking out Zibe 1 versus 1 as the silhouette. So that's the other scary thing. I mean, Noob G's farm still continuing to be very impressive, 350 gold per minute. But then on top of it, I mean, you have a Tempest who's actually now with that 400 GPM himself, and actually he does have his portal key, which I assume he even used right there to help kill Pharaoh initially. So it really does go back to OTP. I mean, they are running a strategy, as we saw going into it, of a very early game. They were going to need to be aggressive. They tried to an extent, but Trademark Esports, they're looking strong here, only 13 minutes in now, but you kept going back to also the fact that they weren't roaming on Tempest definitely hurt them. And actually, Deadwood running into Glacius, and that usually results in a free kill, as we saw right there coming out from Limp. So even another kill adding up, and we are already looking at a 4,600 gold lead and 8,300 experience lead in favor of Trademark Esports. 13.5 minutes in here.
Yeah, and this early game-oriented team is not paying off right now. And specifically because you couldn't do as much in the laning phase. You couldn't kill the lane that you were in when you were started out with a tri-lane. You couldn't roam in the jungle. And obviously with the short lane bomb, it's a good idea against if you know there's going to be a suicide. Like, that's the risk you run, is when you're like, okay, well, they're going to run Suicide Hag. Haha, got you. Bomb owns it. Well, not if Hag doesn't go there. Yeah. And in fact, because of that reason, Bomb is this is why we don't see Bomb or we didn't see Bomb for so long, is because it's so easy to pit him up against matchups, just any kind of dual lane. It could be Empath Silhouette. It could be Predator Raw. It doesn't really matter. In the meantime, bottom lane, you actually see an ultimate there from Noob G. He's going to be fine for now. There actually is an airstrike, but they don't have vision of him. Tormented Soul is going to hit. They got you. Could use the airstrike in base. Oh, it could have been done. It could have been done, but didn't go for it.
Yeah, it really did seem like they had chances there. And I feel that was one of those cases of OTP was like, wait, why would Silhouette be up that far by herself in our jungle? She must have support. This must be a bait. We're not going to go after her. I really think that's what happened there for OTP. And obviously, as we saw on the minimap, I mean, Noob, he was panicking. He like used his tree grapple out of nowhere, and he only went like maybe 2 feet. I mean, he was trying to run away when he really wasn't getting pursued in the end. So, yeah, OTP missing out on a big kill chance right there of a little bit overzealous play. Rich not going to go for the tower kill. He will get the tower kill, but at what cost? As Pebbles jumps in, and Zai will fall. So, one of those moments of Zai is just like, hey, I got the tower, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Sure, I died, but hey, I got the tower. Tempest, man, look at this. He's cleaning up some stacks here in the jungle. My nuts here on Tempest, just continuing to farm pretty damn well. And now this middle tower also falling, but here comes our wrath to the Pharaoh. Bombardier joining the party. He has an airstrike, not going to use his sticky bomb, enough damage to take out Deadwood, but the tower still got killed, actually, by Noob G, playing that silhouette off to the side. So
exchanging towers for lives is tdM. Yeah. And I think it's okay, but actually, if you look at the overall Golden experience, it actually starts to go a little bit in favor, even though they're getting that exchange. So clearly, that's just being that's a better exchange there for OTP. But again, the bottom line is that they don't have a carry, and they need to be in the opposite position. They need to be up 7,500 experience and 5,000 gold to be in an okay position because of the team composition that they have.
Yeah, it really just does keep going back to that. So they're going to try to pressure the middle tower a little bit, but obviously Trademark Esports, they get back here pretty quickly themselves, and they are all ready to defend. How's Deadwood coming along? Okay, he's still not having the Portal Key himself. I mean, his farm was dwindled a little bit early on, but by the time he gets his Portal Key at this rate, he should also be level 11. Nice block once again here on the haste turn. Look at Fitzky. He's going back and forth, back and forth. Both teams, neither one really wants to go for it, and Bombardier will end up killing it in the end. Again, I find that amusing because you look at the mini-map, honestly, they could have just picked it up and ran away, it seemed like, if you're the Legion team. There was no portal keys or anything like that, but, you know, again, just wanted to play it safe. And in the end of the day, he just destroys it, so. Silhouette, though, she is really, in fact, after cleaning up these Ancients here, if she gets a priority at least, she could have her Nullstone finished, but also want to give something to Deadwood, maybe to get that portal key here. So going to spread it around a little bit. Xibe, how is he recovering? Well, not so much. Only 160 gold per minute now here on this Bombardier, who's 0-3-1, unfortunately. He did go the Ghost Marchers route as well, too. And he's only sitting on that in a Ring of Teachers, so he ain't that tanky, especially only being level 8 on top of that. And it has shown already this game for sure. Pebbles, again, he's been sitting on that portal key. Hasn't made the most of it, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, and he really hasn't had it that long. It's also a portal key up on the Deadwood. I think he's had that for a little bit of time
He
now.
just got that.
Oh, he just got it?
Literally
okay.
just purchased it.
That to work with now, too. Doesn't have level ulti, or level ulti.
Ultimate ulti.
The ultimate ulti. Doesn't have a level 11 ultimate just yet, but still going to do just enough damage to really take out anyone on this team except for maybe the Pharaoh and the Pebbles. But actually, even the Pebbles, because he doesn't have the highest of armor, he doesn't have any points yet into the slab skin. His armor literally is only 1.2, so it's very low armor.
Oh yeah, that's you know what? Speaking of abilities that never really get any mention, the slab skin on Pebbles. As much as we see this hero, that's like never talked about. By the way, hold that thought though. Deadwood actually jumping at the bottom lane. Defensive matchless call placed initially on a Bombardier right there, as they were expecting something. Pebbles turns it around though, and they will take out Deadwood. You see an Empath coming in with an illusion, but a good turnaround kill, and so it's a good heads up from Master of Arms onto Bombardier right there. Empath, again, that's an illusion running through. But yeah, so as I was talking about, though, I mean, the slab skin, the fact that you're looking at armor increasing, but also the debuff duration reduction is not that bad either. So
yeah, yeah, things like Sheepstick, Hellflower, it's really, really good for him.
Yeah, it's just kind of one of those funny abilities.
Unless, I'm wondering about that. What if Hellflower, does that, like, disable the spell itself, the debuff? I wonder.
What do you mean?
Like, okay, if you use Hellflower, so they can't use any of their spells. Well, does that work on passive too, like this debuff duration? So he would no longer. Actually, meantime, Xibe gets taken out right here. Empath inside Tempest, actually, of all heroes. Bat Blast not even used, and they were able to get a very easy kill on that. Not even the Elemental Void was used from.
Oh, speaking of Pebbles, though, Deadwood jumping in. The level 1 Falcon Punch. The combo return from Pebbles coming out. Glacia's coming in as well. Their defensive master's got the last second, but it's just too much damage. Glacial Downpour being used. He wanted to try to get Deadwood killed, but it cost him his life and ended up giving a double tap to Noob G right there, as Deadwood will walk away just fine. Doesn't have a TP, but he is more than fine. So, again, it just kind of continues here for Trademark Esports in their favor. But, yeah, you know what? You were talking about the slab skin and Hellflower. That is actually an interesting point. Yeah, obviously, I'm really not sure.
I'm going to go into testing practice mode after this.
You're going to check that out for yourself.
Because it's like, I'm trying to think. If I remember, like, Berserker, his ultimate kind of does the same thing. You have the huge debuff, or the debuff duration.
Yeah, it's like the 90% or something like that.
And so what I see, is it really that much? Wow.
It seems like I think it's pretty high.
I literally see Polywog just like hex somebody, then nope, he comes right out of it. But I feel like if I've seen the Hellflower onto Pebbles, which I've seen a lot, I feel like it lasts the whole time. I don't know. I could just be drinking something I'm not supposed to, but
There is always that chance. Ooh, Glacius trying to catch Silhouette, but you see Noobji splitting up right there just in case, and again, he should be fine. Yeah, not sure. Something I have to test in practice. Tablet of command picked up by Bombardier. So again, Xibe just doing what he can to try to recover. He's probably actually pretty close to level 11 too. And that will be cool for him. Noobji's, is that the real thing? It is. He is chasing Glacius right here, but he's going to pour it out with the illusion just before it wears off. So not going to be a kill for him. You kind of feel like One Trick Pony, again, especially with them being down 1-0, this is it no matter what. So, well, the mindset, I guess, is where I'm kind of getting at of, really, just like the first game, how much time is really left. You don't think there's much, and it's going to be a case of, maybe try to get that one fight to happen. Master of Arms, you are dead. Yeah, that'll happen.
That tends to happen.
That tends to happen
Deadwoods.
when you
Dead
go down there. Dead why?
I don't know. Dead Woody.
Tempest, by the way, just finished his post-haste. Portal key, tablet, post-haste. And Minuts is farming, what does he got? 444 gold per minute now and counting. You got a glowstone picked up on Zai, so we're seeing some different item pickups here on certain heroes.
Yep, as well as the push book onto Russian Hag.
Yeah.
Top lane, actually, Minus gets taken out by the Pebbles and Bombardier combination. Bombardier has a level 2 ultimate, so
yeah,
he's going to do a little bit more damage here.
Yeah, oh yeah, he didn't use it there, but yeah, he does have the level 2, so maybe that can start playing a role in this game. And again, this is the winners bracket finals. It's interesting to see this, especially as you get later on in the tournament. You expect more of the even games and whatnot, but to an extent, Trademark Esports is just this good. But at the same time, it's nothing against One Trick Pony, and I think you would even agree with me, Trout, that it's also a case of, sure, they had a great run last weekend, but this is new territory to them, and this is new ground for them. They're not used to being, honestly, in this spot. This is obviously the first they've been. Even with the loss here, if they lose out, they'll still have the greatest finish yet. So you kind of wonder if that is playing a role too. That almost an intimidation factor here.
Yeah.
This far, but.
Well, I think confidence is it plays a huge role here as well, as you mentioned. I mean, they did take out SG, and I think honestly SG is right up there with tdM. I really do. Specifically because I love the way that they draft right now. Like, I think the way they draft is pretty innovative, and it seems to be working. Yeah. And it catches teams off guard, and they're a very fun team to watch. So, but they did take out SG 2-0, so I was hoping to see, the confidence right up with OTP in this weekend against tdM, but tdM, they are still considered the best team right now, and maybe that has something to do with it. Like I said, confidence, it does play a huge role, I think, for this team, as it does many other teams.
Yeah, as we always like to say, I mean, by no means this is nothing against tdM. Of course, they're still playing, as you would expect. They're playing their A game for sure, and it's just showing once again here against OTP. But I will say, if things could tend to stand this way, and we do have a series victory for tdM, that means OTP, of course, they'll get bumped down to the losers bracket finals, where they play that winner of that Stay Green Lions series, and both of those teams, they 2-0'd just earlier in this tournament. I mean, you just talked about Stay Green, and you got Lions. Both of them, they got 2-0'd by OTP, so you'd hope, for OTP's sake, that, at least they could look at that and be like, we just beat these guys last week, and why can't we do it again, if that's going to be the case. So, but this game obviously is still happening for now. One Trick Pony just still trying to get that little bit of magic here, and a little bit of spark going. You do got that level 2 airstrike on Bombardier, who has definitely somewhat recovered. I mean, his GPM is still pretty abysmal, but he has gone a little bit up and up. Shrunken Head is trying to be finished here on Pebbles. It is actually getting close. Yeah, Pharaoh's also pretty close to a Hellflower. Well, we kind of saw this last game too, where we saw those Hellflower pickups and everything, and then they just weren't used, and the game was over before we knew it. So.
Well, again, it's like ganking heroes farming. That's basically what's happening here. So when ganking heroes farm against farming heroes that are supposed to farm, usually the team that is more centered towards that late game is going to have a much better time and a much better edge as it does approach the mid to late game, which it's slowly doing. But Pebbles having the Shrunken Head, that's going to be pretty big for him. But again, the Shrunken Head, Deadwood don't care about that. He doesn't give two shits about your Shrunken Head.
Neither does Silhouette to an extent.
Exactly.
Yeah, and speaking of Deadwood, he's actually running through with the invis. He has about 25 seconds remaining on that. There is a bound on Master Arms, but he's going to jump in action on Pebbles right there. The defensive Master Call coming out. Pretty good timing, actually. The Pebbles does not have the Shuriken just yet. He will fall. Farrell will jump in, though. Wretched Egg, nice an airstrike right there on top of the mummy walls. Deadwood in some trouble. Wretched Egg barely alive off to the side. Master of Arms chasing him down. Will get the kill right there. The Tempest ultimate gets some minions there, but nothing else other than that, so he's going to miss out on that. Deadwood cutting through the trees, still somehow alive. Master of Arms destroys the bound eye, actually, right before he dies, so heads up play there. But now Tempest getting caught in the mummy walls from Farrell. There's a quick tablet out, though. That's what you love to see against Farrell. The Hellfire doing some work. That Torment Soul Storyfooter picking up a hat trick right there. Oh, no, that was actually Noob G. Never mind. But Storyfooter is a serial killer. Unfortunately for him, though, he's the only one alive right now against Silhouette, Deadwood, and Empath. And you do see Silhouette going to find Storyfooter. Apparently, Tempest was lagging there, but down goes Farrell. Quad kill to finish things off here for Noob G. And, well, as that announcer, that sexy announcer so much says, a genocide indeed.
Yep. And did he just completely whip his ultimate or something on Tempest?
Tempest, well, I'm not even sure how it started, but he was ultimating nothing. So.
Oh, well, there you go.
When I saw it, so.
He saw the invisible man.
But,
saw the invisible man with the stun up.
Yeah.
Didn't want him to use it.
Oops.
Yeah, that was a big fight there for tdM. But again, it's just the inevitable. It really is.
Yeah.
When you have a Silhouette that's this farmed and a Deadwood that was supposed to get shut down because you had Rome coming out with a dual lane mid against him solo. But like I said, it wasn't accomplishing anything. I pointed out his CS early on, and he was still out leveling the dual lane mid because it was a dual lane mid. And had level 6 relatively fast and also had the good, decent farm up. And in the meantime, on top of that, you had a completely free farming Silhouette, getting, not even just free farming, but getting kills on the Bombardier. So it's one thing to be free farming, it's one thing to be free farming and also getting hero kills on top of that.
Yeah, you know, I will say that was great timing from tdM on the airport, whether it was intended or not, but the Shuriken was being delivered to Pebbles, and the fact that they jumped Pebbles right before that all started off. Deadwood actually in a little bit of trouble here. Now, he didn't get hit by the Tormented Soul, so he is going to be able to portal key, actually. Farrell nearly spotted him. Pebbles trying to find him, but he's still on the run. Can he cut him off right here? Maybe Stalagmites to catch. Portal key off in 5 seconds. Limp knows he's in a lot of trouble right here, trying to juke a dive. No, he's going to be caught, though, and Limp will eventually fall. So he was playing a little bit overzealous there at the bottom lane, kind of by himself, and it doesn't pay off in the end. So good catch there. And actually, Farrell, he does have the Hellfire, as you see, finish. So again, these at least they got something here on OTP. Is it delaying the inevitable? Well, who knows? They have every right, of course, to play this out, especially when you are down 1-0 and it's over after this anyways, if you do happen to lose. So might as well. And they are going to get their... This will be the second tower kill, actually. Not 28 minutes in, so... it's the top one also down, but...
Silhouette sitting off here to the side. I don't know if she's just AFK getting a drink or something, but...
one of those games.
She got her Gatorade, so now she's good to go. She's going to farm this the rest of Creep Wave.
She has a level 1 shield breaker, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I love this build. I think it's perfect. Except for the Ghost Mark. Don't like them.
Oh, the airstrike on top of the combo from Pebbles, and that's what you like to see. Now, the offensive Master's Call, it was actually a little bit late there, honestly, but still, you do get the idea that, especially on a hero like Pebbles, that offensive Master's Call can be absolutely terrorizing. So, good kill on a Wretched Egg, and it's just, again, it's a case of they've been needing that earlier in the game. But nonetheless, it is a kill, and at least a step in that right direction, as we always say. So they still got that hope for sure. Silhouette thinking about maybe jumping in, but not going to just yet.
Yep, Tempest is above them now. His farm has tapered off just a bit. We saw him at the top of the game with like 450. It's down just a little bit under 400 actually. Legion does get the tower in mid, so getting a little bit of extra gold for them. And still hanging in there.
I'm feeling a comeback, man. I'm feeling a comeback from OTP. Something's going on here that's just like, you know what? Sure, I mean, tdM, let's be honest, they are maybe going some items and whatnot, but it's not like they're going completely troll. They're not like going Codex and everyone. I mean, sure, the post stace on Tempest might not usually be picked up, but and then the glow sword on Wretched Egg, actually, it's not like that's a bad pickup either. It actually has pretty solid stats, so.
Yeah, well, even the push book, you can say it's effective against Pharaoh.
Yeah, of course.
They have 2 of those, so yeah, I wouldn't say their item pickups are wacky at all.
Yeah, that's actually true. The more I'm actually looking at it, so. Anyways, I'm feeling the comeback, man. Let's go OTP. Let's do it. Arcana just picked up there on Pebble, so on his way to his Hellflower. Energizer is, I'm guessing, being worked on by Archie Tiger, playing the Master of Arms, so. And he is level 11 too. Again, big thing to note there for MOA, having that level 2 Master's Call. Bombardier, he's coming along. He is building up somewhat. He's now got a Blessed Orb, actually. Kind of curious about that. Is he going for the Sheepstick? I guess he could be.
I think so, yeah.
He can farm quite a bit. I mean, now that he is level 13 here, he has the maxed out, you know, the Boom Dust, the Sticky Bomb. He has Bombardment level 3. Oh, Wrath of the Pharaoh. Big time right there. The Airstrike on top, and yes, it will be a kill. I was going to say, was he a little bit too far away, but what am I saying? They got an Airstrike. It don't matter. And you talked about that. Pharaoh and Bombardier can synergize pretty well.
And it's funny, I mentioned too that the offensive Master's Call can also be used in that combination. So they do have a pretty global, pretty long-range presence on this team. I just would have liked to see this about 10 minutes ago.
Exactly.
Like, I feel like they could have done this 10 minutes ago, but, oh, bottom lane. Oh, my God. Jeez. That was almost two-shot.
The freeze. Oh, if you frozen there.
He had a null stone.
Yeah. Oh, Empath, though, in some trouble. So Pebbles will get at least a return kill here. Ward bitch for ward bitch, I guess.
Yeah.
In the end between the two. And look at this pickup, by the way. So the glowstone, of course, it ended up turning into a Staff of the Master here for Wretched Hag. Now that's an item we never really see on a Hag. It boosts their ultimate quite a bit, though. I don't know by how much, actually. It is at 530 now at level 15, so, but again, it doesn't actually say how much it actually increases it by. It will be 725 magic damage, though, at level 3, which that's a lot of damage in an AoE radius.
Yeah, I mean, it's an okay spell. The only thing is, like, okay, cool, I get more damage on my ulti, which I could have gotten otherwise if I just got a Hellflower, which also locks them down. That's the general reasoning. Now, it does give you some HP, but then the counter-argument for that is, like, why not get a Shrunken Head? Where it also gives you HP, but also makes you completely magic immune. Meantime, Storyfighter gets taken out here by the Limp plus Noob G combination. Yeah,
that's just so much physical damage coming out, and Pharaoh seems like he was using everything to try to get away, caught the tail end of that, but not able to do so. Kongor is going to be attempted now, it looks like, here from Trademark Esports, actually, as everyone pretty much here. The only one not here is that Wretched Hag is currently farming the top lane. Speaking of Shrunken Head, by the way, Tempest actually just finished his, I believe. So he now has that you're going to have to deal with. Now, of course, you still have a Pharaoh here on Legion side, so it is still counterable, but became a lot more difficult, to say the least. Kong, we're going to easily fall, though. No resistance. There's no vision here anyways, but it is going to go down. Sheepstick is going to be finished on Xibe here. So, again, his farm, it's recovered. He's now over 300 gold per minute, and he's level 14, so... Now, you do have a Token of Life on Silhouette all of a sudden, and things just got a lot harder because of that.
Yeah.
So that is good. And remember, you also we do have the Empath, so that's the other thing that we haven't really stressed a whole lot this game. But you have an Empath inside of the Silhouette now too. So
yeah, that's a really strong combination. It's going to be especially strong when Silhouette manages to get a Savage Mace, because you're going to have those uphill attacks that you don't have to worry about standing, you know, in a susceptible spot. And then you're also going to have Empath boosting your damage on top of that. And then you're going to get procs from the Relentless Salvo twice when you use the Tree Grapple. So it's a really strong combination.
Noob G is going to split up right here with the Illusions. Again, he has a Null Stone activated on him as well. Pebbles trying to find that opportunity. He is close to, well, he does have the second Arcana. Picked up and up there. Deadwood says, I'm tired of waiting. Goes into Master of Arms. Pebbles with the counter on to Deadwood, though. Shrunken Head is going to be popped. Deadwood may fall right here. In fact, yes, he will. The Bat Blast connects, so down goes Master of Arms. And now Pebbles on the run. The physical damage again a lot despite the Shrunken Head. Down goes Glacier right there. There's the Empath inside a Silhouette. So right now it is a 2-for-1 exchange in favor of Trademark. They also get the tower kill, and they may start pressuring the base now. Bombardier does have the Sheepstick still, remember. In fact, going to use it right there on the Silhouette. In jumps the Wrath of the Pharaoh. Silhouette will fall right here, looks like. Yes, the Token of Life going to be used, of course. Down goes Bombardier, though. He cannot buy back. He didn't even use his Airstrike, unfortunately. Empath falls, but they're kind of in an awkward spot as tdM. They're kind of deep in enemy territory, and they will sort of fall back, but you see Silhouette took a good amount of damage there, as well as Wretched Hag before they get away. So tdM, a bit of a dive there. In the end, they kind of get away, and granted, the Token of Life was used at least, so some positives there at least for One Trick Pony.
Yep, OTP fight until the end here.
Yeah.
I mean, between the Sheepstick and the Hellflower, the Pharaoh, and Bombardier, it's actually a pretty good exchange right there. And had they not have the Token of Life actually up on a Silhouette, she would have died. Although you can also argue she's maybe playing a little bit more ballsy and a little
because
bit more
of that, yeah,
free, because she does have that second life.
Yeah. Yep. I can definitely safely assume that. So back to more farm we go here for Trademark Esports specifically. Like I said in the last fight, no Airstrike coming out for Xibe, unfortunately, for One Trick Pony. Really could take advantage of that in those fights. So hope for the next one. That could be the case, but he has now respawned. As you said, though, One Trick Pony really are fighting to the very end here against Trademark Esports. And again, nothing wrong with that. And I keep going back to, man. I'm feeling the comeback. I'm feeling it happen. Arcana picked up by Wretched Hag. The Soulsport Workman on Deadwood. He just got a Mighty Blade, I believe, and also now Silhouette with the Mighty Blade. So perhaps her own Shrunken Head is now coming up here in the future. So Pebbles, he is going to be perhaps going into the next fight. He should have a Hellflower picked up, and that's just, that's another great item to have here for the Legion side in terms of locking down the opposition. Now that's where the Nullstone definitely plays a bigger role here for Silhouette, of course. Ooh, middle lane, Pharaoh actually catching Tempest by himself using the Hellflower. And especially with the Hellflower. I mean, Pharaoh's showing right there the damage that he could do. There was an airstrike used as well, so that obviously helps. But, oh, here comes Wretched Hag with the counter. Sheepstick going to be used on a Hag. The bombardment, the sticky bomb coming out. The charge shot on top of that. The Fork Lightning going to be used. The Deep of the Master calling Pharaoh in the meantime. And yes, Hag will go down now. She gets the Bat Blast off in the meantime. Pebbles over here as well going to lock down. The auto attack's just too much, though, despite the tablet. Rotten Grasp not going to land. Good juke by Storyfooter there, actually. Can he get away? Tablet coming up in 2 seconds. He has a Hellflower still as well. Is he going to tablet right here shortly? Yes, he will. He's going to try to go for the portal uphill. The wall. Oh, no. The mini stun coming out from the log right there. And down goes Storyfooter. A great attempt indeed, but well played by tdM there at the end.
Yeah, I know. That was really well played, well, by both ends. And it started off with that combination that, even though they're losing this game, it seems, that Bomb plus Pharaoh combination is actually really strong.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised to see that in future games. But, yeah, again, it really comes down to just having Bomb in a very susceptible lane to being ganked constantly. And it's very difficult to come back from that. He's actually done a very good job at doing so. But, as you say, but at what cost? He had too much farm on the Silhouette. Free farming Tempest in the jungle that didn't get any pressure. And I think that's the biggest problem here in this game is that he didn't get any pressure, nor did really the Deadwood. I mean, yeah, you dual lane against him a little bit and was able to hinder his farm a tad, but it really didn't have the effect that you needed to have. And in fact, yeah, he does have 6 deaths, but honestly, a lot of those deaths are kind of silly. And those weren't reflective in the early game.
Yeah. Pebbles has response. He wasn't able to finish off the Hellflower. And Pharaoh still has another 15 seconds, so he cannot buy back. Double jump into the back of the Falcon Punch. Now the tablet was used, though. Look at Silhouette going so ballsy there. Now Deep of the Master's Call will save him. In the meantime, now Silhouette realizing this might have been a bad move. Noob G is going to start falling back. He didn't even have the ultimate up either, so that was a very ballsy move there by Noob G. But it doesn't end up costing him his life. I think the biggest reason for that, though, is because Pharaoh was still dead. If Pharaoh was coming up right there, that could have been pretty big. Airstrike on a who?
Oh, I mean, Deadwood just blinked right next to that Water Side.
Oh.
Could have seen an airstrike, possibly.
Yeah, that would have been pretty epic. Airstrike would definitely kill him, even still, but yeah, it just doesn't know where he is now. They're going to go to their own Ancients, as Tempest was having fun with those, but he falls back, so.
You know, it's funny, because I feel like tdM could just easily push into the base.
Yeah. They are
just diving over and over.
They are diving pretty
unnecessarily.
They are definitely, as we say, having fun with it. So maybe not necessarily in the item sense, but definitely with the play. I mean, they are playing a little bit more overzealous than if this was a more serious, closer game even. But hey, again, you do got to wonder about that a little bit for Trademark Esports. It is a case of, sure, you are in a very comfortable lead, but One Trick Pony continues to have very good burst, and you are getting some the other big item now with the Hellflower on the Pebbles most likely soon. You got Bombardier hitting level 16 here shortly. And sure, Silhouette is, she's got great items herself, but if they deactivate and also get the Hellflower up, then she will fall pretty damn quickly, honestly. So, in fact, here we go. Whoa, they are not able to catch her before they're poured out. Quick reaction from Noob G. And he will be fine right there, but that was very close. But they may keep this going. Actually, Wrath of the Pharaoh will connect to Deadwood. He's running right on top of the water side. The Hellfire's applied. Here comes a wall from Empath, trying to save. Glacial Freeze going to come out, and down it goes Deadwood. Now Pharaoh will also fall. Silhouette doing so much damage. Here comes Tempest post-tasting in, and Noob G, by the way. Look at that. He is an immortal. I don't know if we ever see that here on HoNcast, but Noob G 15-0-5. Ouch.
Yep. I mean, he just got way too much farm. Got way too much farm, and his items are, again, perfect. Love his items. And in the meantime, Wretched Hag does have a Bat Blast. Yes, he does. He's putting that damage onto Pebbles. Pebbles does have a Shrunken Head. He's going to pop it and try to go for a counter kill. And they will get it, actually, with Bomb coming in from the flank from the right, starting it off with a Sheepstick. So they get the kill on the Zai. Now I need to look back about going to heal and then trying to defend. But again, Silhouette has so much damage, has so much farm.
Yeah. I mean, the damage chart, she is up 22% overall. Of course, leading the way. Here goes Empath inside once again. You see the auto attacks into the tower. Pharaoh isn't up once again. That's a big deal, man. They're really relying on Pharaoh a lot. Nice tapping away right there. Deadwood jumped in, but now he's in trouble. Here comes Tempest, so not going to ultimate just yet. Deadwood does end up dying, but now Pebbles on the run. There's another Immortal Streak coming out. It's just going to start spamming now. Master of Arms going to fall as well, and I think it's safe to say Noob G is absolutely destroying One Trick Pony. 18-0-5 here. Talk about raising up the KD for him. The tower falls, the melee racks going down. Bombardier, he still didn't even airstrike. I've been noticing that lately too in these team fights here at the end, and we really haven't seen airstrikes coming out from Bombardier. There goes Pharaoh though jumping in, but Sheepstick on his silhouette, and also was deactivated now. Bombardier, he's the one in trouble. He's going to be turned on again. He'll just fall right off the bat. He can buy back. Will he is the question. Pharaoh is going to fall. And I think One Trick Pony might be at a point of it's over, because it kind of is.
That's game. And there's the GG's coming out. GG well played, and it was very well played here by tdM in this entire series.
It was.
I mean, everything from the drafting to the laning to just how they moved around the map. So tdM takes the game and once again moves to the grand finals for, is this every single time now?
Other than Cycle 3?
Other than Cycle 3, that's right.
Yeah. Like I said, they've only had those 2 losses in series overall on HoN Tour now, and they both happened in Cycle 3, where they ended up finishing 4th place, I believe it was. But once again, they are going back to the grand finals. They're already in a comfortable first-place spot in the standings. It's going to even help now. Even if they happen to lose in the grand finals, they're still going to get so many points.
Yeah,
but they're going to be up 1-0 now. That's, of course, the biggest thing coming from the winner's bracket. You're up 1-0 as you deserve to be in those grand finals in the best of the 5. And Trademark Esports, again, they know how to take advantage of that. So they did play very well. Again, it was, I will say, One Trick Pony. It didn't seem like that was their A+ game by any means. Yeah. Kind of like the earlier series with Absolute Legends in the same shoes against Lion Esports Club. But hey, that's sometimes how it plays out, and you got to respect tdM for what they are. 18-0-7 Silhouette, man. I mean,
yep.
This was a winner's bracket finals. This wasn't like your first round. They just faced a team like a gold team that just came up or anything. I mean,
Grab Lords.
Yeah, like Grab Lords now. One Trick Pony, very sound team as of late, especially team that you're going to be joining even. And well, unfortunately here, not the best of times.
Couldn't get it done. And I really think it's just their lane setups, honestly, in both games just did not impress me. And I feel like if they would have been a little bit more adamant about roaming the Tempest there in the jungle and really actually gotten kills. Like, they stressed so much about heroes that get kills, but they didn't get kills. They didn't get anything done. It was a ganking team that was farming more passively, kind of like the team that tdM had, but they had a late-game team. So when those two things combine, it ends up with an 18-0 Silhouette. So.
Yeah. All right, I mean, that is going to pretty much wrap things up for today as far as our coverage goes. Again, not necessarily the longest day here for either series. Happen to be both series fairly quicker 2-0 series victories for both Lion Esports Club and now Trademark Esports. But again, sometimes it happens. It's leading up to tomorrow, which I'm sure is going to be a great finish for cycle number 5. And actually, speak of that, of course, the State Green versus
I've been checking that over and
Lion
over,
series.
and they've only played that one game.
Really?
And they're not joining a second one, so I'm very
well. Actually, let me double check that then real quickly on the brackets. It's not over already, is it? It is.
2-0. Well, I can only see one game. That's so crazy.
Maybe it's just bugged out because
could be.
Well, because I was gonna send people over to the Complexity HoN stream because it looks like he is casting a second game, but they're 33 minutes in. It says 1-0 State Green, so yeah, I guess they played it and we just happened not to catch it for whatever reason.
Huh.
They finished. Seems like State Green getting the job done fairly quickly.
In both games.
In both games. In fact, yeah, there you go. I was just pulling up the stream myself, and GG Well Played is being called. So it's official there. State Green takes out Lion Esports Club in the losers bracket matchup.
Yeah.
And so that means tomorrow's brackets are good to go. We have State Green that are going to be playing One Trick Pony in the losers bracket finals the first thing tomorrow. And then, of course, the winner of that will match up against Trademark Esports in the grand finals, with tdM up 1-0. So OTP, like I said earlier in that game number 2 against tdM, is a case of, all right, so you know what? We can't get it done against tdM. We beat State Green earlier in the cycle, 2-0.
That's right.
Why can't we do it again, right? So
that's right.
I hope that's kind of their attitude. But you were also mentioning State Green's a very impressive team now as well. Yeah. And you got to maybe think they're going to be bringing their A game to the table. So
yeah, I honestly think that I really do think that part of me thinks that SG is stronger than tdM. I really do, and it has to do with just the way their practice regimen and the heroes that they draft. They're different, and they work, and they're trying things out, which means that when you come to play them, you don't necessarily know what they're going to do. It's not like you were playing Complexity, say, 4 months ago. It's like, oh, crap, there's the Mage Bank Glacius lane again.
All over again.
Well, we don't know how to beat it, but we know it's coming.
Yeah.
But now it's like, they're drafting stuff where it's different. You don't know exactly how they're going to lane things, and I think that's not only fun, but it's also effective.
Yeah. Well, that, again, it's going to be exciting. Stay Green, I agree with you. Not only a great team, but definitely a very exciting team against OTP. That really should be an awesome best-of-3 series there. And again, the winner of that playing tdM the later portion of tomorrow. So, well, that means things are going to be wrapping up for today. Again, a fairly shorter cast, but it happens. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you guys had fun. We sure did for the matches that we had here today. And going to get things moving along here. So, well, you can follow this guy at HoN.
And over here, Breaky CPK.
At HoNcast, the HoNcast Facebook, all that jazz, HoNcast.com, HoNtour.com. You know the spiel. So definitely check out all that. But tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, 1800 Central European Time, we'll be coming back at you with Stay Green taking on One Trick Pony, Losers Bracket Finals, followed by the Grand Finals. See you then.